If you're running a business today, especially one with, a big physical operation,
Like manufacturing or a warehouse.
exactly, or food service, you are in this relentless battle against rising costs. And the single biggest, most unpredictable, and frankly, the most infuriating part of that fight is energy.
Absolutely. It's a huge variable.
So today we're doing a deep dive into some material that's designed to give you a real, immediate tactical advantage. We're looking at excerpts from GWT2Energy's 5-Minute Fixes series, and it's all about their strategies for zero-cost restaurant energy savings.
Hmm.
And what immediately struck me about this stuff is that it's just completely sidesteps the usual conversations, the ones about replacing old equipment or these huge infrastructure projects.
Right.
The mission here is pure profit recovery. It's about finding big, immediate energy savings without spending a single dollar of capital.
And that's a crucial distinction for anyone listening.
It really is. It's about looking for efficiency that's hidden in plain sight, in settings and habits that we've all just forgotten about.
Well, when budget pressure hits, management often defaults to long-term CapEx planning. It's always, we'll get a new high-efficiency broiler next year.
Right. Kick the can down the road.
Exactly. But this report shows that hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars are leaking out right now. And it's simply because systems that were designed to be automatic are being manually overridden or, they're just misprogrammed.
So we're not talking about tiny improvements here.
No, not at all. We're establishing this core premise that small operational drift, these little behavioral habits, when they compound over a year across multiple systems, they cost massive unnecessary money.
It's an exercise in auditing attention, not equipment.
That's the perfect way to put it.
And to anchor this whole deep dive, they gave us this fantastic central case study. It's a single quick service restaurant, the QSR, that managed to pull back about $1,000 every single month into their margin.
Wow.
Pure profit with zero hardware spending. It's a powerful validation of this whole zero-cost idea.
It really is.
So we're going to trace their steps.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this and find the hidden dollars.
So before we get into the fixes, let's, set the scene. This QSR was a pretty high-load environment.
What does that mean exactly?
It's about 3,000 square feet. It's located in the hot, humid South, and it's operating with high-volume cooking and late hours.
So massive refrigeration and air conditioning demands.
The two biggest energy hogs in the business, by far.
And the initial call to the consultants, this was the classic operational paradox, right? The bills are climbing.
Steadily climbing.
But the internal audit shows everything's fine. The HVAC is new, equipment's maintained, and usage during open hours seems totally normal.
Management was baffled. They thought they needed a major upgrade that they just couldn't afford.
And that is the exact trap you're talking about.
It is. Management asks, is my equipment functioning? And the answer is usually yes. But they fail to ask the more critical question, which is my equipment functioning at the correct time? So the team didn't just look at the total bill. They went right to the granular usage profile.
Yeah.
They pulled the meter data.
That 24-hour graph of consumption.
That's the one. And what did that profile reveal?
It told an unmistakable story.
When they looked at that graph, they noticed that the energy usage dropped.
Yes.
But only slightly when the restaurant closed.
Okay.
So the doors lock at midnight, but the energy consumption only dips by maybe, 25%?
Whereas it should be a lot more.
Oh, a truly efficient, locked, empty building should see a drop of 60, maybe 70%. The difference between those two numbers, that's the money leaking out.
This is what the experts call the ghost load.
Yes.
It's such a great term for those phantom costs that haunt empty businesses, just running systems nobody needs or sees.
It's the cost of running an empty box. Think of it like this. Your business runs on 3 main systems. You've got the cooking and production system.
You stop when you close.
Right. Then you got the critical life support systems, ice machines, some refrigeration, security.
The essentials.
And then there's the big one, the comfort and ventilation systems, HVAC, hoods, and lights.
And in this QSR, the graph showed these massive consumption spikes all night long.
Exactly. It wasn't flat and low, which would indicate only those life support items were running. It meant the hydro comfort and ventilation systems, the biggest cost centers, were still running full tilt. They were cooling an empty dining room and exhausting air from an empty kitchen.
That's amazing. It reveals the entire $1,000 a month problem wasn't a mechanical failure.
No.
It was a systemic failure of attention, what they called behavioral drift.
Precisely. Nobody broke anything. They just slowly defaulted their automated systems to be on all the time.
So just to put a number on that for you listening.
Let's do a quick mental example. If a forgotten kitchen exhaust fan is drawing, say, 2 kilowatts of power,
Okay.
and it runs for 4 extra unnecessary hours every night, that's 8 kilowatt hours wasted every single day.
Over a month, that adds up.
Over 30 days, that's 240 kilowatt hours of pointless electricity. Depending on your utility rate, that single mistake could be costing you $50, maybe $75 a month for one fan.
Now scale that across 3 major systems.
It adds up incredibly fast.
So once they ID'd the problem with the meter data, the goal was simple. Bring that overnight energy floor down by reprogramming, not replacing.
Exactly.
And they organized it around 3 zero-cost fixes. Let's start with the heavy hitter, especially in the South. HVAC scheduling.
Right. As I said, HVAC is the single largest consumer of energy in a hot climate QSR.
And the error was,
The error they found was incredibly common. Somewhere along the line, probably due to a temporary maintenance need or a staff change, the system had been programmed to a permanent occupied mode.
so it's trying to keep the building at a comfortable 72 degrees.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's like leaving your home AC running while you're on a 2-week vacation.
Precisely. Except it's a commercial building fighting heat from the walls and the roof all night long. And that one mistake was the largest piece of the ghost load, easily hundreds of dollars a month.
So the fix was strategic scheduling.
Right. They adjusted the system to allow the building temperature to drift up overnight. So if it's 90 degrees outside, they let the inside climb to, say, 85 degrees while it was empty.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. Can we zero in on that? Why is it less expensive to cool a hot building right before opening than it is to constantly maintain a cool one all night? That sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and it's where the real physics comes in.
Yep.
When you maintain a low temperature, like 70 degrees, for 8 hours overnight, your system is running constantly to fight the steady-state heat load.
The heat coming in from outside.
Exactly. The temperature difference is huge, 70 inside versus 90 outside, so the heat transfer rate is high. The system runs at a medium level for 8 continuous hours.
Okay, I follow.
But by letting the temperature drift up to 85, you shrink that difference. The AC compressor barely runs, if at all, for 8 hours.
And then you just hit it hard an hour before opening.
You hit it hard. Yes, the compressor runs intensely for 60 minutes, but it takes way less total energy to cool the building from 85 to 75 in one focused blast.
Than it did to perpetually maintain 70 degrees for 8 long hours.
You got it. You trade long, low, inefficient runtime for short, high, efficient recovery time.
That is a phenomenal insight. It totally transforms HVAC from a static cost into something you can actually schedule. All right, fix number 2. This one tackled the second major air-related drain. Hood timing. The kitchen exhaust systems.
Right, so kitchen hoods are for safety. They remove heat, grease, smoke, but they come with this massive dual energy penalty.
Dual.
First, they use fan energy to run the motors.
Yeah.
Second, and this is often more costly in an air-conditioned space, they literally suck all the conditioned, expensive, cool air out of the building.
Forcing the HVAC to work even harder to replace it.
Exactly. Sucking in hot air from outside and cooling it immediately. The problem here was that behavioral drift again.
What was the routine?
The staff routine was hoods on when the first person starts cooking, hoods off when the last person finishes.
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this often added 3 to 4 hours of unnecessary runtime. They were running these massive ventilation systems to exhaust the smell of floor cleaner.
So how do you implement that behavioral change? I imagine there's pushback, right? Staff are worried about smells if they shut them off too early.
There was initial pushback, yes. That's why the training was so important. It focused on distinguishing between cooking needs and cleaning needs.
Okay.
The new rule was simple. Shut off the hoods after the prep and active cooking is done, specifically before the heavy cleaning starts.
Because the exhaust you need for deep frying isn't what you need for mopping.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So by cutting those last 3 hours of high-volume exhaust, they dramatically reduced both the fan energy cost and that secondary cooling cost.
It was just a simple operational check. Is heat or smoke actively being produced? If not,
Turn it off.
attention to detail wins again. Okay, moving to the third fix, which seems almost embarrassingly simple. Exterior and dining lights.
It's hard to believe in a modern business, but yeah, in this QSR, all the lighting was managed manually,
So whoever locked up last just decided when the lights went off.
pretty much. And it led to incredible variability. Sometimes the dining room was fully lit all night. Other times the parking lot lights ran until 9 a.m. the next day.
And this is where the source material has this really crucial lesson on maximizing what you already have.
Exactly. They didn't go install expensive new motion sensors or smart LEDs.
Who would do?
They just looked in the wiring closet and found the existing mechanical timers and contactors. They were already installed but had just never been programmed or used.
They were just sitting there.
Sitting there. So they set the timers to match the exact operating hours with a strict buffer. Dining room lights off 15 minutes after closing. Exterior lights off 15 minutes after the last staff member usually leaves.
And just minimal security lights left on.
Minimal, strategically placed. It was literally a 5-minute programming fix to stop burning hundreds of watts of electricity into an empty parking lot.
So let's recap. We have 3 zero-cost adjustments: strategic HVAC scheduling, training staff on HUD timing, and programming existing light timers. What was the outcome?
The results were immediate and dramatic. It really proved the power of focused attention. By correcting those scheduling errors, the store's overnight power draw, that ghost load,
Yeah.
it dropped by almost 50%.
50, wow. Cutting the energy used when the building is empty in half, that is just staggering. And how did that translate to the bottom line?
The financial impact was exactly as promised.
Hmm.
A total consistent savings of roughly $1,000 every single month.
And because no capital was spent.
That $1,000 is pure recovered margin. The manager's response, I think, it summed it up perfectly. He said, "I don't know what you did, but this is the lowest electric bill we've ever had."
That's incredible.
It transformed an operational headache into a profit driver overnight.
That emotional response from the manager is so key because it fundamentally redefines efficiency, right? It shifts the focus away from this idea that utility costs are just a fixed burden
Something you just have to pay.
and reveals that they are highly controllable variables dictated by attention, not by budget.
And we need to bring this back to you, the listener. Whether you manage that QSR, a factory floor, a gym, or an office space, the immediate actionable step is to audit your own system's habits.
So if you're serious about finding your own ghost load, the experts here offer 2 paths.
First, if you have the data, pull up your utility usage graph online. Most utility companies provide this now. Look at your usage profile between midnight and 6 a.m.
If the line stays high and choppy, you have a ghost load.
You've got it. If it drops sharply and flatlines, congratulations, you're efficient.
And if that data isn't easy to get,
Then the second step is free and low tech.
Yeah.
The nocturnal walkthrough. Go back to your business 30 minutes after closing.
just walk through.
Walk through. If major systems, the dining room lights are on, the HVAC is blasting cold air, you hear those loud kitchen hoods, if they're still running, you have just found your $1,000 a month starting point.
And you just need to start asking, who is supposed to be turning this off and when?
Exactly.
This deep dive really hammered home for me that the road to cost control isn't always paved with high-tech sensors or huge investments in smart buildings.
No.
Often the money is just being lost in systems that are designed to be automatic, but due to that behavioral drift or programming errors are just left running manually or on permanent occupied settings.
And that leads us to our final thought for you to consider. This quick service restaurant found its ghost load in the obvious places.
Yeah.
Lights, hoods, and HVAC.
But every operation has its own unique, forgotten power drains.
That's right. So what other critical automated systems in your business do you currently assume are running on a perfect schedule?
Things like what?
Things like hot water recirculating pumps, industrial dishwashers, maybe even auxiliary heating elements, systems you never see.
The biggest operational drain is often the failure to periodically verify those basic settings.
Go find the systems you think are on timers and check the dial. Don't assume automation. Verify attention. That is how you reclaim your margin.